Young Innovators Show. Can you imagine something as ordinary and as widely available as the Indian summer fruit jamun being used to generate power? Well, we have some brilliant minds in our IITs. And today we have joining in Professor Soumitra Satpathy and his team from IIT Roorkee. And they're going to be talking about their jamun-based solar cells. Welcome to the show, Professor Satpathy and team. First of all, I would like you to explain in a very simple layman language, how did you realize that jamun could replace the existing chemical dyes as photosensitizers?
So the idea started with the following, like once early morning when we were walking in the IIT campus, we saw that there are some jamun fruits were falling on the street. And it was all dark color. So we wondered where this dark color is coming from. So then, there must be something, pigments or some kind of dye inside these jamun fruits that is giving its dark color. Now, since our group was working on solar cell, so we have been working along on this kind of using dyes or pigments for fabricating solar cells. So in a very easy language, a solar cell is nothing but a sandwich structure between two electrodes, one positive electrode and another negative electrode. And the sandwich structure is called the active materials of the device. Now you need a dye or pigment to absorb the sunlight. It is just similar like a photosynthesis process in a plant. So I asked my student, Mr. Nipun Sahani, who was doing his MSc thesis that time and currently a PhD student at Cambridge University, so to record the absorption spectrum of this material. And what we found that this material actually absorbs light. So then, just out of curiosity, we extract this jamun fruit in some common solvent like ethanol, and that extract we use to make a solar cell. So basically, the semiconductor, which is commonly used for making solar cell, we dip that semiconductor in this jamun extract for overnight, and the next morning we make a solar cell out of that. And very surprisingly, we saw that some current is flowing in the circuit. So that actually increased our interest. So then we thought that there must be some absorbing species inside the jamun fruit, which is helping to absorb the light and providing the current in the circuit. So we did some series of experiments, like we record absorption spectrum, we record their chemical compositions, we record their any kind of emission properties, and by doing all these properties and investigation, we were sure that there is some pigment whose chemical name is anthocyanin that exists inside the jamun fruit, and that gives the very dark color of the jamun. And this anthocyanin pigment or the dye can be very useful for making a solar cell.
Professor, was this first time somebody had experimented on jamun as a potential source of generating electricity?
Yes, we were the first time to report this jamun as a source of the electricity. So not only that, when we were very excited about this jamun, we went to market and also tried to use some other kind of berries like blackberries, blueberries, and we all saw that this kind of berries also contain some kind of dyes or pigments which can be useful for solar cells. But since jamun is quite abundant in India, so we concentrated on jamun.
So, Professor, that brings me to the obvious question. How practical it is to implement or use jamun as a potential source for generating electricity? Because that would be great if it can be done, especially in the rural India.
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question. So right now, as I will say that we are still in a very, very primary stage. So we have done a recent estimate. What found that if you consider a village which consists of 500 people, and if you consider that each of the family use one electric bulb of 40 watt and one electric fan, and if you have one jamun tree, that jamun tree lives for 80 years, and that jamun tree, the amount of jamun it will produce over the lifetime will be sufficient enough to electrify that whole village. So that gives an statistics or estimate about the power of the jamun solar cell. But here comes the practical questions. How one can do a mass production? How one can take it from a solar cell to a solar panel to a grid system? So those are engineering challenge still needs to be overcome. So far by doing a lot of experiments, we have been able to produce the efficiency on a scale of 1.5 to 2%. So we still don't claim that this Jamun solar cell will be able to replace the conventional solar panel. But what we claim that these Jamun solar cells will be very useful for small gadgets and also for indoor lighting. Nowadays, this indoor lighting, like inside the house or cinema hall or any kind of restaurants. So the indoor lighting is a very interesting and booming field. So we wanted to actually targeting that area, but we hope that the continuous research for another 4 to 5 years can help us to bring to that stage. So this is just a beginning, but this gives a ray of hope for all of us.
So, Professor, when you're working with a product like this, are you also taking any assistance from outside your institution, meaning tying up, reaching out to other organizations, be it Indian or international, to benefit from their experience or knowledge, especially in the solar cell development?
On the solar energy materials, we are already in contact with different international active research groups, and we collaborate also on different aspects of the solar cell research with different national and international research groups. We are also in contact with some industry. But as far as the Jamun solar cell is concerned, yeah, it's true that we have been approached by different industry and different collaborators. But right now, our main focus is to bring it to an optimization level by our lab, and then we wanted to bring it or give the tech transfer to any of the industry. Yes, but it is true that I am in conversation with some of the leading industry in the country.
Do you have to top it up every few years, few months? How much would be the consumption of even at this current state?
Give a very small example to you. Like let's say you wanted to make a 1 centimeter square solar panel. So the amount of that Jamun dyes which is needed there is 250 mg. And if you use the conventional source, so that kind of Jamun lasts for 30 to 35 days on average. So one needs to replace the dye after 1 month. So if you wanted to use for a community application, like for example, if you wanted to install this kind of power system in a village, there should be a continuous supply of the Jamun. But right now we are trying to optimize the system. For example, by optimizing the engineering protocol, we are trying to reduce the leakage as much as possible. So for example, if you can seal the device completely, so then the Jamun leakages can be reduced significantly. So in that case, the same amount of Jamun can be used for a longer time. And also we are exploring the possibility of reusing this Jamun.
Okay, Professor, I see that you have a team behind you. Are these all people, students who are working with you on this project?
Yeah, these are the PhD students who are working with me. This project actually started in 2016, and I mean not exactly on this project, but all of these people are involved actively in the solar cell projects, and also recently on the coronavirus thing, we are involved in a lot of new discovery. So my research team is involved in apart from solar cells, yeah, they are also involved in different kinds of the medical equipments or societal innovation for coronavirus things also.